Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday night chat. We got Coda Boy 32 and Rosie O'Kelly here tonight, and we may have a few more people come in. I sent out a few invites out there, and they may drag in a little later, and that's fine. That's why the invites are sent out. And I'm going to let Coda Boy 32 do an intro. Go right ahead, man.
Intro. All right, guys, Coda Boy 32 here. Check it out. I'm sitting here with two of the greatest people in the world. I got TRprepper and Rosie. Just happy to be here. Do the best job we can.
There you go. That's all we can do. Rosie, you go ahead and you do your intro, and if there's any subjects you want to go ahead and jump into, I'm more than happy to hear it.
You know, I'm always ready to run my pie hole with what's going on in the economy and everything like that. Thanks, TR. Great to be on with Coda 2, and happy Tuesday, everybody. Be extra nice. Tomorrow's my birthday, so y'all be sweet to me now on here. Not much to say. I think y'all know my channel. About 2 years I've been doing this with TR now, so I'm always happy to be on here Tuesday nights because it's kind of a focused conversation. It usually starts with economics and works to politics, and ends up with guns and prepping, which I think is a great combination for a chat. So, having said that, I just want to get into what's going on in the economy. As far as the president goes, President Trump, I saw the Speaker of the House today was discussing the fact that he thinks that they're going to have a tax plan in front of the Congress by September, which I think will be pretty interesting. Because as I've said before, the big things that were promised on the campaign trail still remain to be achieved by the president, namely the health care, the repeal of the Affordable Care Act, and this tax reform. But he has been doing a lot in terms of regulation, particularly when it comes to energy, coal, some reforms on tariffs, and trade things that I think are kind of long overdue. Now, he may not be the most delicate person when it comes to negotiating and diplomacy. I mean, let's face it, he didn't come through the ranks as a diplomat and a career politician. He came to office as a hard-nosed businessman who, you know, took a small fortune from his father and built it up into something bigger. But, you know, he's going to have to continue to learn to be patient. The big problem he has is I don't think that it's the first time in my memory we've really had a president that I don't feel like all the Republicans, I don't feel like all of his own party is sort of behind him. And I think in a lot of ways it's surprising him that he is the biggest obstacle. This is the biggest obstacle, and I don't think it's one that he ever thought that he would encounter in terms of getting things done. So I think it's been a lot of sizzle, but not much steak so far, and I really hope that begins to change soon. But I think a bloom is off the rose in terms of his expectations that his victory would be seen as a mandate, particularly for his own party, and that he wouldn't have the trouble rounding up the votes to get these things done. This Obamacare is definitely in a state of collapse. The premiums have gone up. There's not many insurers that are even left in willing to write new policies. So there's no doubt it's going to fall apart. The question is the government mandated to shovel money in to keep it going and thus become a black hole? Or are we going to be able to escape the gravitational pull of that kind of mess and junk it and get maybe a more free market solution for medical care? It's going to be important because the basic population ages, the median population continues to go up in this country. So that means medical bills are going to go up too. I was listening to the Federal Reserve governor from Chicago today, and he was talking about how difficult it's been to create inflation, even with all this quantitative easing and all of these steps that the government's taken over the last 8 almost 9 years to get things stimulated and moving. He seems very surprised that in light of all this easing and trillions of dollars of debt buybacks and all this liquidity in the system and easy, cheap money, that where's the inflation? Where is the inflation in the system? And it remains a mystery to him, but it doesn't remain a mystery to me. And based on what happened in Japan with their crappy recovery from 1989 to basically the present day, cheap money does not equal recovery. You have to have some really strong economic drivers. Right now, all we really have driving forward is technology. It's a big one, but we've built this major, massive bubble in the market that I know the Federal Reserve Chairwoman, Janet Yellen, thinks about a lot here, about how big this bubble is going to get. And, we know what happens when bubbles grow to a point. They pop, and what's the fallout going to be on that? So I continue to be impressed by the one-sided nature of people shoveling money into something, and now it's just a big momentum play. And they're trying to give justifications for why NVIDIA, the big graphics card maker, should have tripled in price over the last year, market value, and why Amazon's going to eat the world and all these kind of things. Just be careful. You know, we're so very far up on this spike in the market that I just don't think it can end well. We just have an economy that's not even going to grow, probably 1%, much less 2%. Interest rates are still dropping. Oils, the bottom's falling out of the oil market again, as I thought it would. And now probably within the next 2 weeks, we'll be testing the $40 level on the way down. So there's a lot of powerful forces of deflation at work out there that are still very, very, very strong. So just beware. So that's about all I have on that.
I'll tell you what, Rosie, let me ask you a question. Oh, jeez. So I pulled a thing.
Is that better? Talking about the oil prices, what do you foresee the gas prices doing over the summertime through into the fall?
Coda, let me just turn my volume up here a minute. So you're fine on your end. It's on my end. I'm on external speakers. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Could you repeat the question?
All right. So say, for instance, you know, I drive 1,000 miles a week. Gas prices are very important, and that's one of the things that I follow on a day-to-day basis. Where do you see gas going in the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 months?
I would think, what's your current price of gasoline where you are now for regular, Coda?
$1.85.
Okay, $1.85. I wouldn't be surprised in the next 2 months or so if you're down around $1.59 to $1.69, somewhere in that area. Generally, it takes about a month to 6 weeks for West Texas intermediate crude prices to filter through the the collection end, the refining end, and get out into distribution. So I would think that you're going to be looking at probably $1.59 to $1.79 a gallon. It's hard to believe, isn't it? I mean, we were supposed to have this massive energy shortage 5 years ago, and we were paying $4.50 a gallon for gasoline in California here, and that was almost $150 a barrel. And now we'll be lucky if we hold $40 a barrel here. So I would say, Coda, I would think you're looking at $1.59 to $1.75, maybe somewhere, definitely on the downside, because there's.
Well, the problem with that whole situation is, and we've seen in the past, I think that even TR mentioned it in a previous video or chat, was that once the state's cost of gas go down, they start getting the itch to increase the taxes to make up the difference on it. And even South Carolina, pardon my French, the shittiest roads besides Michigan and Wisconsin, but they'll figure out a way to well, they look at, well, you know what, we can't let all these people incur all the savings. Let's go ahead and jack up the taxes on this thing. But the problem is when they bring it, gas goes back up, they don't relieve you of the increase in the taxes.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at. It's interesting to see what's going to happen in the next couple of months.
Matter of fact, it just passed. And the way they passed it, I guess they had a majority because it's been going on for the last couple of years wanting to increase the gas tax because they're bitching about the roads. Oh, we got to do something about the roads. We got to do something about the roads. Finally, it went through without voter approval. They raised our gas taxes 70%. They raised our car, like if you buy a car, they doubled that. If you, this is a funny one. If you drive a like hybrid car, your taxes increase like 200 or 300% because you're not using as much gas. And just a whole list of shit. You know, if you buy a car, the taxes, the sales taxes doubled, blah, blah, blah. And then when it all went through and these people that were pushing it were all happy it went through, then it turns out there's not one damn thing in the bill that says they will repair a road. You just increased their funds. You didn't change their structure. You didn't change anything on the way business is done. You just gave them more money to do the same thing they're doing.
Well, you know, it's every politician's and every state treasurer and every governor's wet dream to have tax revenue go into the general pool so they can do whatever the hell they want with it. And I'm sure if you look at the gasoline, they always call it a transportation improvement bill or something, infrastructure improvement or something like that. You'll see in the fine print that they have the ability to allocate that to the general fund if they so choose. The problem with that is if you start to take the price of gasoline, and as the price of gasoline drops and you try to put a tax layer over top of that, you're depriving the citizens of the benefit of that free market adjustment in prices that should be a substantial benefit to people, especially on a percentage basis, because it's one thing if you're at $4 a gallon and gas goes down 20 cents a gallon, big deal. On a percentage basis, it's very small. But if you're at $1.80 and gas goes down 20 cents a gallon, on a percentage basis, it's much more meaningful to you, that decline, when you start getting down to a small number. Now, when the states start infilling that with a floating tax or an increasing tax pegged to a certain theoretical price that they think should be fair for gasoline, we're being deprived of any benefit of the economic benefit of the fall in gas prices. And it's another case where government intervenes instead of living within their means that they already have. It's another means of them sort of another money grab that creates a further dislocation in the market, and it keeps the oil market from ever really improving because it puts an artificial price on gasoline that keeps demand from rising in the face of what would be lower prices. So it's all kinds of complicated shenanigans that come out on that. It's really a shame when they do that. I would think that TR, South Carolina, is a rather red state down there, and I'm surprised that a lot of these shenanigans, you know, can pass and can get through. I guess if you cloak it into some bullshit about fancy highways and better roads,
I think just like anything in government, it came down to money. Michelin is very big in South Carolina. Unless this changed, they got 5 plants in the United States, or North America, I should say. 4 of them are in South Carolina. And you got BMW, you got all these companies that make car parts, and there's some other big companies. And I think they had a lot of influence on it and pushed the right people, had the money to put into advertising to actually change people's mind, and the freaking sheeple are like, yeah, you're right. Our gas tax is one of the lowest in the nation. We should raise it, which is the exact reason to keep it where it's at. You know, but yeah, we should be proud that we have the lowest gas tax, not freaking saying, you know what, I don't pay enough for gas. That's just dumb as a box of rocks. Who the hell are you?
Well, that's like Virginia has roughly about the same gas prices especially where I stop at. If anybody's ever traveling through Virginia on 81, stop on exit 150. There's a pilot there that has gas for right now $2.10 for mid-grade. And I stopped on the way up to PA there and on the way back to PA there. But you talk to the truckers, man, they won't stop in North Carolina because of the damn taxes on the gas. But I mean, right now, I think in North Carolina, we're probably about 20 cents more a gallon. Whenever I make a run down to Rock Hill, South Carolina, to go to Cabela's and the liquor store, I always get gas there because it's cheaper. But if you're telling me what I'm telling me, your roads will probably be the same, but your gas but at least I get cheaper alcohol.
Well, I think you'll be happy this summer, Code, especially going into fall when demand starts to slacken. You might really see something dramatic at the pipeline. You know, guys, and I think TR, you'll bear me out. I've been negative on the oil market for a couple of years here as we've gone through the whole collapse and everything like that. The problem for oil is that once the price collapses, people don't go pull the solar off their roof. They don't jettison their fuel efficient cars. There's a lot of stuff that's baked in the cake of fuel efficiency. You know, keep going with the momentum for years going forward. These government mandates on mileage and all those things they're targeted over a period of years, and they don't just stop just because the price of oil went down. So that's going to really, my biggest concern about the price of oil is not in this country, because I think it'll have significant benefits, although there's going to be a lot of debt that goes bad in the next couple of years. A lot of these oil companies and marginal oil companies aren't going to be able to make it on the price. But what's interesting over the last year, even in the face of $45, $50 oil, we're having increasing production in the United States again. And we're very close, and I mean within a whisper, of taking out our peak of 1970s oil production. And if that happens, the U.S. is going to become the largest oil producer in the world. I mean, there is just, our fracking people can produce oil seemingly out of thin air with no difficulty at all. Therefore, OPEC loses that control over what they thought was a monopoly, because oil is being produced everywhere now and it's cheap as hell. So my biggest concern is terrorism, because of more instability in the Middle East, particularly in Islamic countries like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and those kind of Qatar, and those kind of places that have really enjoyed the benefits of very high-priced oil. You know, we've seen all the stories of all the fancy hotels and things in the you know, the people that go to the United Arab Emirates and those kind of places. It could get really ugly over there really fast when the money flow dries up, because they don't have anything. They don't really have anything else. It's not a vacation spot. All they really have is oil, and that's about it. So they have very singular economies, and once the money starts really drying up and the budgets get slashed, there's going to be a lot of people that were sucking on the government tit that are going to be really pissed off about not much money left in the coffers.
Well, isn't Venezuela a prime example of they was you know, the oil prices went up and they were becoming rich, or at least the government was, and the prices dropped down and they've pretty much collapsed.
Yeah, I mean they're coming. They're on what I call the cutting edge of totalitarian states, where there's just going to be either a strong man stand up, or there's going to be a reseeding of communism in a place like that, because they can't seem to find their way out of a paper bag when it comes to free market economics and all that. And I'll tell you what, too, Linda asked about how do these birds get money to continue their operations. Well, there's still a country like Saudi Arabia can function because their draw price per barrel is like maybe $5 out of the ground, $5 to $8, and then they refine it. Maybe they're 12, maybe they're 16. There's still a lot of edge. There's still a lot of margin there. But the margin between 45 and 16 production is far different than the margin between $120 a barrel and $16 a barrel. The money is declining rapidly. And I just think declining money equals destabilization in those regions. So that's my biggest worry. Is it's a very fertile ground, particularly for the young, when there won't be any money.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, I can't compare Venezuela with Arab nations, but just saying a nation relying on oil prices and riding on momentum and probably wasting money and implementing bad policies based on the income they got coming in, which I guess is normal. And then when the bottom drops out, they didn't have a leg to stand on. They're just like, oh, we're broke.
It's a very dangerous country down there, because that's if you're living there, you better be a damn good prepper coming up in Venezuela.
And now ain't the time to start. It's too late.
That's too late, because you can't find a lot of stuff. Nobody's importing. They basically nationalized a lot of foreign-owned operations and stuff. So they basically sealed their own death warrants internationally. So good luck.
Well, we got a pretty good crowd out there tonight.
Yeah.
I would do a rundown, but that's too many people. Let's see, what else is going on?
It might be a good night to ask if there's any questions people have on the side chat or anything. We don't usually do a Q&A or anything, but if there's anything anybody wants to ask that we could cover.
Sonia said she likes your unicorn.
She's a cutie.
Yeah, that's a good one. Does anybody have any topics or questions they want to ask or talk about?
Yeah, we usually just talk, and
getting back to your opening statement though, Rosie. I will say that I agree with you that Trump is kind of in a little bit different place than a lot of presidents in the past. I ain't saying all, I'm just saying a lot, that he has very little support from his own party. I can see you not having support from the opposite party, but when you don't have support of your own party, that's the reason nothing's getting passed. I mean, they're not really passing anything. They're not really getting anything done. I did see that they're thinking about cutting back the summer vacation or whatever it is, summer recess or something like that.
That's all we need is that longer in session.
Yeah, I mean, really. It's like, well, just go ahead and get it done now.
I'm just thinking, can you imagine giving these assholes an extra month down there? Imagine what kind of problems they can get into. My big issue with them, TR, is we know how the Democrats stand. I mean, they're solid as a rock. They're unflinching in their stands. That's a given. He knew that going in. But yeah, it's really tough to deal with this Republican element that I'm not sure how he travels down south, meaning I'm not sure how his message resonates. And I just feel like a lot of people like Mitch McConnell and some of these other people, they're thinking more about midterms now, and we got to straddle the fence here. This guy could go, this guy could fall down the shitter, or this guy could be a hero. We got to put our fingers in the wind and try to just be real clear which way the wind's blowing here, or we're going to find ourselves out of a job. And this is the way I think I'm perceiving some of these Republicans in Congress. Don't we have an election tonight in Georgia for an open seat that was vacated by somebody down there joined the cabinet or something? It's going to be a real test tonight. And I'll tell you, if this Democrat wins down there, you can expect more Republicans intransigence, more Republican resistance to getting things done. And then I think you're going to have a pissed off president, and some agony. Okay, Com says the GOP wanted. Okay, that's a very important thing. It keeps the momentum going. But that's good. The GOP wanted. Thank you. So at least that's like a little straw kind of vote that gives him a little backing that things can continue on. But damn, the longer you wait, the harder it is to get the momentum.
Yeah, Sonia asked a good question. Has Trump initiated many policies? Yes and no, I guess. I mean, a lot of the stuff he's been trying to do as much as he can within his power, and that's policy is about all he's been able to get done. I mean, they're not, like you said about Obamacare. I know a lot of people want to whine about that. Probably nobody watching this, but it's already collapsing. It's going to fail. It's failing already.
Yep.
It's not a matter of Republicans taking Obamacare away. It's going away on its own. It's flat out failed. I don't know why they can't say, you know what, we're going to do away with Obamacare, go back to the laws that were in the books, whenever it was, 2007, 6, 8, I forget, I don't know offhand. Go back to those rules and regulations that was in the books then. If you had a pre-existing condition and you was under a group plan, if you changed group plans, they had to accept you under their group plan. They couldn't kick you out. They couldn't charge you more, whatever. All that shit was in place already. I mean, I've heard some people comment about Obamacare is like, oh, I couldn't have had this. I would have been so bad off if Obamacare wasn't there. It's not like insurance didn't fucking exist before Obamacare. It was just a way to manipulate the insurance we had, and then it turned it into shit. I can't even go see my family doctor to get a checkup now because it costs me more money to go see a doctor using my insurance than it does to go to a doctor that don't accept insurance. It costs me almost $100 to go to my doctor just to say, I got a cold or whatever. And I got insurance that covers $1,000 fucking dollars.
People have this idea like it's a continuing thing, but they also know that by law, by legislation that was passed, that the federal government has to stand behind this shitty Affordable Care Act now and shovel the money in. So that's why the Democrats stand strong. They don't really care if your taxes increase or they're forced to make those decisions. Now, Gwen asked if we're close to a point of meltdown. I'll just put it this way, and I'll leave it to your imagination to connect the dots. In 1929, the market started pulling away. We had the great crash in 29. The market started pulling away from the reality of a deteriorating economy that was already slowing down with freight car loadings and real estate transactions. The banking turnover, the banking system had been declining. The flow of money had been, the velocity of turnover of money had been going down. But things were stretched out to such a point that the expectations of investors were so out of touch with the reality of what the economy's doing. And they're so convinced that, tomorrow was going to be, prosperity for all, as Hoover said, a chicken in every pot and every man comfortable at home. Well, the exact polar opposite happened over the next decade of just financial disaster. We're at the same situation now where there's things like the investment markets have been so pumped up by cheap money because there's no other place to put your money now. But the economy is still down here somewhere, and this thing's pulling further and further away, and it becomes like a rubber band, and it's going to snap. And I think it's probably going to snap sometime this late summer or fall. That's when I believe that usually if we have financial calamities, they usually happen in the fall. Just my thoughts. That she asked. She was asking about that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things set us up for failure. That's for sure. And I do have a problem with healthcare. That's one of my little pet peeves. I've had a bad experience with it, and so it's usually I pay attention to it a little bit more than I do other things.
We just had Amazon coming in offer to buy Whole Foods, and that's going to be a huge game changer for that industry. They're going to do to the grocery industry probably what they did to the retail industry, just level that. Com says, hey, Rosie, did you hear about the Senate bill that requires cash and cryptocurrency registration outside of banks? Yeah, every time the federal government sees something like what the hell is that currency, Bitcoin or something like that, go crazy. They get a little bit nervous about those kind of things. So as long as you recognize that it's an alternative currency like gold or something like that, we're okay. But if it gets too important, then you're going to have a problem. Rosie said, any idea what could cause it to snap suddenly? I would think maybe a major default by rippling. You know, we've already had Puerto Rico default. There could be usually it's going to be some big country or something's going to default, or something's going to happen. A bank is going to fail or something like that. There's just no, it's just hard to make money in banking these days. Let's see. Linda says, does it make sense that either Amazon put the bricks and mortar in a bad way, and now they want to get into it? Yeah, I guess they think the margins are good in that kind of stuff, like health foods and those kind of things. But there's really no money. Grocery is a very thin margin business anyway, so they're trying to just pluck the high. They're trying to pluck the low-hanging fruit of high margin.
I would say Whole Foods is a higher margin than your average grocery store.
Much higher, much higher. People attach a certain snob element to Whole Foods, and a certain panache of being organics, and that. So there's money to be had in that, and I think Amazon feels like they can expand that concept. But just beware. Gwen and people like that, if you do have money in something like that, trees don't grow to the sky when it comes to those type of situations. And when you see one of the governors of the Federal Reserve being interviewed today, and he just scratches his head like, I don't know what it's going to take to create inflation in this country. We've thrown everything at it but the kitchen sink, and we're still right on the edge of a big deflationary spiral. Yeah, we were warned about the big box stores. That was one of the first things I talked about 2 years ago when TR had me on, was retailing's in early days of a bad spiral. Yeah, brick and mortars. You'll see Macy's getting into tough shoals now because the middle class is getting squeezed out. I don't know. I mean, I think groceries are pretty efficient. I don't think there's a huge market in that kind of, certainly not tech margins.
Well, they can integrate it into the Amazon website, and so you can buy Whole Foods products through Amazon and have it delivered. And
well, they already have that thing called the pantry, where you can pretty much do that now. They've got the quick buttons. You can just put all over your house. You see something you're missing, you just press the button. The stuff shows up 2 days later. It's amazing. But to imagine that, what Rose, you may know, but the guy that created Amazon, basically out of his garage, and it's turned into one of my favorite.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos. Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
He's an amazing guy. Scott says, Rosie, you're just a plethora of good news tonight. The good news is you live in the greatest country in the world. That's the good news. And if any country is able to secure its future, it's this country. And number two, to get to a better future, sometimes you got to burn down the house. It's so rotten at the foundation that you just got to face the realities. And one of the things about being what I call on the cutting edge of economics is sometimes you see things with a telescope, and your time frame isn't exactly what you expect it to be, but it doesn't mean the event is not coming. It just means it's a little further away than you think it is. The other thing too is you have the best technology base of any nation on earth here, and I think it's far more creative because of its liberal arts traditions of knowing a little bit about a lot of different things. It's far different from the Asian educational system. That gives us a tremendous edge in things like creativity and developing whole new industries and products. Very few fresh things ever get invented out of Asia. They usually come out of the West and then get perfected in the East and drop down in price. So
well, that's pretty cool. Just saw the news from the out there that Georgia went to the red. So there you go. How about
there
that?
You go. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the good news there. That's the good news, but it's just like Linda said, the Fed's frustrated. It just can't seem to create inflation. You ever see that movie Dr. Strangelove where you have Slim Pickens is riding a nuclear bomb out of a B-52 bomber? They open the bomb bay doors and he's got his cowboy hat on. Yeehaw! Going down. You know, it's all shits and giggles, and it's a fun ride until it detonates at 6,000 feet or something above ground level, and then it's game over. Well, it's the same kind of thing from the Fed. They've got to maintain a very brave and strong face on everything. They're victims of politics too, and overspending and deficit financing and all those kind of things. So they're just along for the ride. They're like Slim Pickens on the back of a nuclear bomb. That's it.
Yeah, I just don't even know what to expect anymore. I really don't. You think things are headed a better direction, and it seems like it's getting worse. I don't know. I know eventually it's going to crash. There ain't a doubt in my mind. Eventually it's going to crash. But when, I have no freaking idea.
I know Coda knows a lot about life, and you do too, TR. You go up and you look at a property that's for sale, and you have somebody come in, or you go down, you crawl under the house, you're thinking about buying it, and holy shit, the foundation is all undermined under there, and sinkholes, and you know, the salesman, the realtor is going to stand there an hour and try to convince you how great it is, and you're like, but this is going on down below. Well, this is the value of the home, and you're like, no, this isn't going to be the value of the home. So sometimes you need a tear down and a redo, and I think that's why prepper thing is so important, because there's going to be a certain fringe of people that are going to be survivors, and they're going to make it, and they're the evolutionarily Darwinian smart people that could see what was coming and built the future on. Yeah, no entity can handle all this debt. That's the big problem. Even now, 8 years into the so-called recovery, we're still piling on terrific budget deficits every single year. And we're just very lucky or unlucky that interest rates are so low, so it's not real painful. It's almost like free money to borrow. All right, I'll be right back.
Well, it's a number of people who are on the handout, who are on the take, basically, with the country. And it's the reason why we're faced with so many deficits. But we've gotten so accustomed to providing for those individuals for one reason or another. It's gone to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, I mean, we owe more money than literally, we owe more money than exists as far as American money, United States dollar. We owe more. We got to pay people more money than we have. We're living on a credit card. We spend this month, and we pay that bill with a credit card. We're backing up. We owe almost $20 trillion. There's only 12 or 13 trillion in existence.
Yeah.
Well, how's that equation going to work out?
More, they just print it, make it, do what they got to do, but it's a sickening feeling on what's going on. But again, it's the hand-me-down, the hand state, it's the handout folks. This country accepts that there's people out there that there's no alternative, but to support them, we're going to always fall into that thing. It's just like the roads. It's the tax situation. Opportunity to collect from the people, they're going to continue to do so. It's a sickening thing, but it's what they do. So, got an interesting conversation with one of the viewers, who, I don't know if you guys saw the video I did a long time ago saying, please don't do this to your AR. But the guy and I had a really good conversation. He said that I hated veterans. I made fun of people, and I was disrespectful to them. And y'all go to that video and watch the comments. I was laughed at the guy. And then I alluded to him that, I wore a uniform for 8 years and used to jump out of airplanes for a living. And he told me I was a liar. I was like, woo. So, interesting thing about the YouTube crowd that you run into. It's the communication is just whatever.
That's interesting.
All right, some Harpo 17. What am I cooking up next? Probably some more bacon or some more pork, because Dirt Road doesn't like how I handle it with my bare hands and then eat afterwards. But I got the sense of whatever doesn't eat me first, I eat. So it doesn't matter. Just warm it up and go. But let's talk about that Georgia thing, man, real quickly. That was a huge election.
Yes, it was.
It's a tremendous election for the if the Democrats poured more money into that congressional seat than any in history. I think it's pretty amazing, and I love the fact that they smoked their ass, and it just tells you a lot of where the country's going.
I'm going to be real interested in the morning to see how close it actually was. It may be close. I don't know. I hadn't seen anything about it. We heard it first here from people out there in the comment section. But I'm wondering, because as much ground as they think they're making since Trump got elected, the liberal left has went batshit fucking crazy. And with Antifa, Black Lives, do you name it, whatever group, organization you can imagine, they have grown. They have. But I don't think they realize they're still like a little bitty part of America.
Well,
and it may look good on the news when they show a big crowd, but when it's 5% of the population of that damn county or state or city or whatever, all that's doing, which I'm hoping, is it's fueling the right to make sure and get off your fucking ass, get off the couch and go fucking vote.
It's the unspoken majority. This thing, just because they whine the most, they bitch the most, that they're, and it was interesting is I love the fact that here my cousins, they sit there and go, well, Hillary got 3 million more votes than Donald Trump. And I go, well, that's fine, but it doesn't count. It's like horseshoe. She didn't win. So what do you want? You want, I don't understand what you're bitching about, but so I'm reading Wicked's comments on there, but yeah, it's just interesting, the mindset. The majority of the people are for what we want. No, not necessarily. I think the majority of people in LA, New York, and Chicago are for what you want, and the rest of the country has a voice as well. So it's interesting, but I laugh at these individuals. They bitch and moan and groan, and then one day somebody's going to have to smack them in the hand and tell them to shut the fuck up. But here I go. I'm sorry. I'm saying that. bad words.
Rosie, can I get a little bit not personal with you, personal, but just as somebody in the community that you're in, if I'll say it, I'll fuck it up. LGBT, right?
Right, LGBT, yeah. I'm not really
Okay.
per se, but you know, I guess I can be loosely associated categories as that.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. I mean, you have friends and what have you. You know, you're more up to date on it than I am. Okay. My question is, because I've seen this a few times, and I'm not saying that something hasn't happened. I want to know what Trump has done to that community that's got them so upset and so enraged. We already talked about he ain't passed no freaking laws.
I guess with my age group and the people that I associate with, the Linda Francines and the Missy Jens, we tend to be we're conservative. I don't feel like we are. I don't feel like they represent us, what you might think is a mainstream LGBT organization, because I think they're too single focused. They're too selfish. They put their own agenda ahead of things that could be good for the country. In other words, they can't rise above their sexuality to the greater cause of a country. And I don't like it when people lead with gender or sexuality or things like that. I like it when they just lead with common sense and rational thinking. So I very much distance myself from the radical element always tends to take the helm of those kind of organizations. And I just think, yes, I'm transgender, but that's like 10th down on the list of what defines me as a person. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like it when they, put gender, class, and things like that in the top position, and sexual preference and things.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about these type things before. I had a feeling you would say something very similar to that, or exactly that. I was just, I see a article here and there, or see some speech by some group, doing a parade, and I'm like, well, what happened? Did I miss something? What law got passed? What policy got passed? I don't know how he came after you because of your gender or because of your sexual preference. When did that fucking happen? I didn't see it, and I'm like,
it doesn't matter. He did it. He has to pay. He has to pay. It doesn't matter what he says. He used Russian toilet paper this morning. He's a puppet of Putin, even though we're, wanting to go to war with him. But it is what it is. Believe it, folks. It doesn't matter.
It's crazy.
So that's what I say about that, TR. In my circle, it's like a non-event to me. And, a lot of people are conservative in that way, but it's just the younger ones tend to be more, I don't want to say brainwashed, but they have a certain set of values put in front of them in schools and universities and things that are often at odds with what the realities of life are, and they don't know how to face down those kind of facts. Now, the FDRN said, what's going to happen when the states have no insurance companies that underwrite Obamacare? Then the state's going to have to step in and put the money into that, those type of things, or else petition the federal government for that. So this is what Ryan was talking about. He's not lying when he tells you that the Obamacare is in a state of collapse.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been getting back. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I don't think you thought I did. Francis out there, I've been, Coda Boy probably don't know this. What was it, about a year ago? Maybe about a year ago. I went to a barbecue with Debbie
Lynn,
Francis. There was some other people there, and I'm sitting here doing these chats, and they know who I am. We all got along. It wasn't a big fucking deal, you know. Just because I'm conservative don't mean that I hate people. You know?
I think you're an ideal person because you see the person first, and then you can dislike them for their stupidity later. But you're generally going to judge people on their own merits and things. But I find it insulting if somebody leads with the fact, you know, that somebody came in to apply for a job and the first thing is, "Hi, I'm Frank and I'm gay. Nice to meet you." I don't, you know, what the hell? You know, what kind of way is that to?
Well,
really,
because if you don't hire them, they can sue you.
yeah, I mean, well, I can hire who I want, but I'm saying that's a really piss poor way to lead with that in life. You're going to be very disappointed with how you make out. I'll tell you, that's what I object to in a lot of the LGBT communities, leading with that first. And it's like I don't have straight people come in and say, "Gee, hi, I'm straight," and you know, I don't sit there and say, "Well, when did you wake up and decide to be straight?" You know, it's not that, you know, it's a ridiculous sort of thing that I see happening. So, like I say, it's mainly concentrated in the young and the people that struggle and think the government's the way out, and the man is the boogeyman, and it's you know, it's all conspiracy by the rich conservatives to keep us all down.
Unfortunately, this has happened time and time again in mankind's history, and I ain't talking just recently. I mean, for ages and eons, that same circle of events, you know, how government changes, it's just a vicious circle, and it just happens over and over and over, and we're just caught up in it. You know, I mean, not us personally, we're caught up in it. We're not trying to cause it, but we're just caught up in it.
Well, I think the good question is, could more people per capita, would it be easier to survive for the majority of people today if they had no government help at all? Or would it be more difficult compared to 50, 60, 70 years ago? I would say that it would be infinitely harder for people to survive today than the ones that were honed on free markets in the up until the mid-1930s. I mean, there was no thought of government. Wicked sensation says, "I have no issue with you or anything you do as long as you don't force me to." Exactly. It's not. It shouldn't even ever be an issue, because that's not something I ever lead with or demand special treatment because of who I am. It's ridiculous. No better or worse than anybody else out there. It's just that when you start demanding that your little carve out of how special you are, then that's where I have a big disagreement with all that stuff. And by and large, most of my associates are conservative.
Let's just say at work, I definitely, as far as at work, your performance is your merit on how I treat you. If you're a lazy dumbass, or just lazy, or just a dumbass, I will treat you accordingly. I don't give a damn what race, gender, religion, politics. I don't give a damn, because I you know, if you don't do your job, it makes my job harder. So I'm pissed at you. Right?
I like to think that you being married to a black woman for a while maybe gave you a little bit of a unique vantage point too, to observe things and see life a little bit, and to understand it. You know, it's always best when we judge somebody on their individual merits, but I don't blame people when they push back when somebody wants their little carve out of their own special little. That's why I never liked affirmative action and programs that try to boost people up at the expense of other people. That's not equal treatment under the law, and I can't stand that kind of thing. So that entitled society is going to get the legs chopped out from under.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coda said, "I hate everyone equally." You'll love communism, equal misery for all.
Yeah, there you go.
I want to know when SoCal's going to get his orange CZ. Just a little off topic, but
well, TR, how about it? Do you think having black wife changed your outlook or your thoughts on things? I mean, you're in the
I'm
you're in
sure.
the heart of the, you're in the heart of the South down there.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it was a short marriage, but I don't hate her or nothing like that. We parted on good terms. But yeah, it was very. I would say it was educational on both our parts, and I did learn some stuff. I did get some gain some appreciation for different points of view. Um, you know, I married that lady, and she had a black son who took to me right off the bat. So I had, and she had a I don't know how to say this without sounding weird. And she had a all of it together, not the next thing, but anyway. So I married a black woman. She had a black son, and she had a Mexican black daughter. So I had a very diverse. We were a very diverse group of people, a few people, you know. So I had a lot of different aspects of what she had been through. Was raised in New Jersey. She had lived in Atlanta. She had lived in Florida. Um, you know, we dated. I mean, we were together a few years altogether. So yeah, I mean, I learned a lot from that. You know, I was open to learning different aspects and attitudes and things like that. We didn't always agree. You know, I'll say that, but at the same time, I was willing to listen, and she would listen to me.
Well, we're also very drawn by symbolism. You sit there with the stars and bars behind you, and the average person that comes in of a liberal bent, they're going to categorize you, box you up, and gift wrap you and have you all figured out before you ever open your mouth. So that's, I think that far more than anything else, I think it's the symbolism and that chokes people up sometimes, and far more than you know, being able to appreciate people and get to know people, because TR, you cut a lot of different ways, and you don't, you have to take time to appreciate people and what they're about, and all the multifacets that they have that make them up.
I think the military helped with that a little bit too, because you was not necessarily relationships, but you were through in a group, a crowd that were from all over the United States, different backgrounds, different political beliefs. Now, this is just as a young man, you know, 18. So right off the bat, you know, I'm from the deep South and wasn't used to different people from, you know, I didn't necessarily normally talk to somebody from New Jersey or New York or whatever. And you learn how to be friends, and you learn how to, I mean, not that you had problems, but you just automatically, you were open to, okay, they're from somewhere else, or they have a different view, and you just got to be open with it. You know, I mean, you living together, you know, so you better figure it out quick, or you're going to have a miserable fucking life. Maybe that was, I'm sure that was just part of my training in life, you know.
Are those chickens in the background? Oh.
Somebody's talking about fried chicken on the side.
No. I'm hearing the chirping in the back. There must be some birds, man.
I think it's the birds out on the back. I got the back door open here, and Jen's just sitting in the breeze there. And yeah, I think you're probably hearing the birds chirping here.
That's too funny. I was going to mess with El Ray, see if he can start.
Yeah, she just shot it. I don't think you'll hear it anymore.
No, it's night time here. They're not out there chirping. If I hear my chickens making noise right now, that means there's a predator either in the pen or trying to get in the pen, and I will be jumped up and run out there with a 22 blasting something.
Too funny.
Shot many of coons and possums and foxes, and well, that's about it. But
I think coons were real cute till a a whole family of them nested up in my parents' attic for about 6 months. Clean up after that mess. That was disgusting. So my brother and I go back and forth about dead pictures of dead raccoons. Cheering it on. Die.
Yeah, they still pressure me to have my L-Ray channel. I had to figure that out. Maybe I need to buy a security camera and put it in the pen where you can link it to your computer or something like that and do little, just let it run a few hours a day or something like that. It'd probably make $1 million.
Yeah, probably. That'd be awesome though, man. You deserve it. You deserve that $1 million, TR. Absolutely.
Well, if you've seen, I don't know if you've seen the like 10 hours of me throwing not me, but like there'll be videos. Just look up 10 hours of this or 24 hours of this, and somebody will like throw a damn tennis ball at a wall and then loop it for 10 hours or 24 hours. It'll have like 1 million freaking views. There's no hope for America.
No.
Yeah, saying that's how the AR build. Well, the last one I put together, I hadn't bought a lower for it. I threw the upper on a another AR lower I had. I just hadn't got around to buying a lower. And I will say, for anybody that ever thinks about tearing a CZ completely apart to refinish it, don't. I still ain't got that damn thing back together. If you got one that's a regular, if you got one that don't have a decocker, that's a big plus. That helps a lot. But if you try to take the trigger mechanism out, you run into another problem. I'll get it back together. I'll may work on it tomorrow. I don't know, because tomorrow is my only day off for the next 5 freaking days. So I doubt I'll mess with it. But yeah, that CZ's a pain in the ass to take completely down and put back together.
Well, that's the video that's going to get 100 million hits.
Yeah. I was saying in the text and shit when we was talking, that little YouTube group text thing we got, is like, yeah, I'm going to do a takedown and put back together. If I get that son of a bitch back together, I ain't taking it back apart.
All right, I'm catching hell from Dirt Road about my glasses here. Let me explain. I wear like 1.5 readers, and unfortunately, I go through reading glasses like it's going out of style. So I'm having to wear these. I've got a pair of 1.5s, 1.0s, and 2.0s, and I'm having to wear these to read with right now. Unless we have enough money to buy a pair of reading glasses. There you go. That's the reason why I'm wearing my iPro, but more or less they're my seeing eyeballs. But yeah, you got to do you got to just take that thing together. I mean, take it apart, put it back together, take it apart until you get it right, and really do a good educational video how to get it taken care of. TRprepper. No, these are just 1.0s. They're readers, but they're magnified so that I can actually shoot the red dot, scope, and everything else. I can see.
Yeah, that's. This is how bad it. The only thing I got in it so far is the mag release. I was putting the trigger mechanism in the spring that helps do the reset, or whatever they call it. I didn't have any tweezers and picks and stuff at home. You had to have, anybody that's ever tore down stuff, you had to really actually put a slave pin in it, which what that means is it's just short enough to hold everything in place. and then you can put it in place, and when you drive the normal pin in, it pushes that slave pin out. And without those, these things are almost impossible to put together. A gunsmith will probably pop it together like it ain't nothing, but I'm having a difficult time. I'll get it though. It's just a matter of sitting down doing it.
Have fun. You should do a frustration video on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I lost the slide release, and I lost a extractor spring. And by the time the new one showed up in the mail, guess what? Of course, I found the extractor spring and the slide release that I lost.
You know what a lot of people do, and I've found these things. They sell them at Target. They get 2.5-gallon Ziploc bags. Taking apart a firearm or a pistol that you're not very familiar with, or that has the tendency to shoot springs out from anywhere, you take that thing apart inside the bag, so you can see through it. But if something flies, it's not going to leave the room. Immediate possession right there. But a lot of people use that technique just so they don't end up losing stuff. And I can tell you, when I first started building ARs, there were a couple. Everybody knows the pins I'm talking about, man. It's the rear and front takedown pins. I've launched many of those things across the room. Shit. And if you only got one builder's kit, it's like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. I didn't have anything fly apart as I was taking it apart because I foresaw it. So I'd like shove a rag over a spring as I was knocking a pin out to catch it. And it was just afterwards. And I took like masking tape and I was like taping the pins and stuff to it and wrapping around. The extractor spring I never actually really lost. It was just where I had folded over the masking tape. It's so small that when I went back to look for it, I couldn't find it. And when I was pulling the tape apart, I just didn't see it. Yeah. The slide stop, I had it in my hand and went to go do something else. And I knew that's what happened. I said, I laid that damn thing down somewhere. And the day that the damn thing come in the mail, I was like, son of a bitch, there it is.
I've done that, ordered something and found it 2 seconds later, and you're like, oh my God. At least now I got a spare.
Yeah. Of course, now I'm also somebody that's frantic looking for my keys on the way, trying to go to work and start slinging shit left and right, trying to find my keys, and they're in my fucking hand. I know everybody's at least. Hopefully, I'm not the only one that's ever done that. Where's my fucking keys? A bitch.
Well, HN just, said something. Record the video of you taking it apart so you can at least see where each little individual piece. Man, I tell you what, when I did that in 1911, there were a couple things that I didn't have done correctly as far as the fitting of like the trigger bow, or you had, let's see what else, the safety catch, and then the grip safety. And I finally got it back together. It didn't work, but it was back together. I just left it there for a week, and then finally sat down. I was like, we got to do this, and got it taken care of. And I'm still going through some adjustment process for that thing. So I'm feeling for you, man. I feel your pain. Like we were talking earlier about putting that 1911 back together. Hell, you were saying that the daddy and it's part of fitting it back.
Yeah. Yeah, if I think the worst thing, and I might could do it again now. I finally found a YouTube video. This is the little decocker assembly. It's not just a decocker assembly. If you have one that does not have a decocker, it's different. The pin is just there. You don't have to take it out. So all the parts fly apart. I know it don't look like much, but there's like 4 or 5 metal parts and 2 springs in there. That took me 2 fucking hours to put it back together, and made a slave pin for it so I can put it back in the gun. Yeah. I'm used to working with big machinery. When you're working with like little tiny springs, and yeah, my hands just don't work that way. It's like you need to be a watchmaker to take some guns apart. But in 1911, I've done that a few times. I would do that in a heartbeat over a CZ. But I love a CZ. Don't get me wrong. You just don't need to take them down that damn far.
Is that better, guys?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm working with the chat room out there to see if we can get rid of that noise. I'm wondering if it's on my end. It says it always comes on when Coda's on. So is that better, fellas?
Yep. Yeah, there's a little chirping or some kind of little noise I get with, yeah.
Uh-oh. There's comms.
Doing a chat's tricky with feedback and stuff.
Hi, Kai. Hey,
Yeah,
Kai.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, comms.
Sorry I'm late. It was a white knuckle evening. I took my oldest teen out for her first driving lesson tonight. Got her permit today.
Been there, done that.
Oh boy! Now I know why my old man had a six-pack every time he took me.
I did it with both of my girls. I'll tell you, it's a real treat.
Well,
My dad used to sit with a martini between his legs when I drove.
My oldest was like, I only want to drive around in the school parking lot. I don't ever want to go out on the road. And I'm thinking to myself, that's a dream. Just drive around here. Now she does 80 up 101 and things crazy. So good to see you, comms. Anyway, you survived it.
yeah. Tonight was a treat. I let her drive my truck. It's an automatic. But starting tomorrow morning, every lesson from here on out's on the 1968 Volkswagen Beetle.
There we go.
I can't stop the schools from turning them into social justice warriors, but if they're going to be one, they're going to drive a standard.
There you go. We had a 66 Beetle.
All right, hey, TR, Rosie, comms, now that comms is on, I'm going to have to bail out, guys. I've got to be up about 4:45 in the morning. But as always, I greatly appreciate being invited to this thing. Rosie, you're looking awesome as usual. Comms, you're coming in loud and clear. Lima Charlie.
Thank you.
On that TR guy, man. Thank you so much for having me, brother. Good luck with the CZ. Put the video together. Include all the bloopers. It will make $1 million, man. That'd be cool as hell.
There we go. Take care, Coda.
Yeah, and Scotty, Xanax was taken before we got on here, so I'm battling it. So y'all take care. Have a great night.
Good night, Coda.
Later.
Actually, TR, when you set up that El Ray's House channel, that's where you're going to make $1 million.
Yeah, no.
Come on, go to the Walmart, buy one of those little $50 netbooks. Hell, I'll chip in for it. Just have the webcam sitting outside the pen, pointed in.
Comms, are they any good, those netbooks?
My youngest daughter has 2 of them. And for basic Googling and YouTube video watching and video chatting, it's just fine. And they're Chromebooks is what they are. 2 Chromebooks. The older ones have Apples, but the Chromebooks work fine. If you don't pour a drink in them, that's why she has 2. The backspace.
That leaves me out then.
The backspace key doesn't work on one, and I took it apart, and I'm a computer tech, and I couldn't get it to work, so I don't know what the hell happened to it. So she got a second one for, I think, her birthday. But yeah, the Chromebooks work fine for basic stuff.
Yeah, Hayden says netbooks in general suck. They're just very targeted. From what I understand, they're just targeted for one function, just to surf the net. That's it. To upload to Drive, Google Drive, and all that, the cloud. And
that come through?
You are now.
I said, but a Chromebook would work great for hosting the El Rey's House channel.
Okay, got you. I may have to just do that. You're going to have to give me a few weeks because we're doing a lot of upgrades at the plant, and I've been working my ass off. We're moving machinery around. Just a little, okay, Monday we've had, and don't get me wrong, we're using subcontractors and stuff, and there's just a few of us maintenance guys at the plant, so we got to oversee, coordinate, help them out. Had 4 big AC units put in, you know, crane, whole 9 yards. Had that done, moved a machine, moved another one today. I don't have to work tomorrow, but they're moving another one tomorrow. And then, so I got Thursday and Friday to get the 2 they moved, 2 of them that they moved, to get them running. And they're kicking my ass. And then 4th of July weekend, for 10 days, I get 2 days off. We're doing the floor in the plant and all that, making it look great and all that shit. It's weird how manufacturing has got to. We need to make the place look good. We don't give a shit we can make a part or not. We need to make it look fucking good.
Here's the question, TR. Is there overtime involved?
A little bit, but not. I really don't give a shit about the overtime. We moved that today. I know. I don't know if that really comes across. I mean, it's a pretty big machine. It's a 200-ton injection molding machine. I know that looks like shit, but it's an ordeal to move machines that weigh like 35,000 pounds.
Now, I'm not too proud to say it. I'm an overtime whore. I'll take every hour of overtime I can get.
Well, overtime for me involves sweat, blood, and tears, so I just really don't give a shit about it.
Because for me, overtime means more toys.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's not household money. That's toy money.
Well, I don't mind a little bit overtime. I don't. I have overtime built into my pay. I work 12-hour shifts. It's like 2 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, and it alternates weekends where either I have 3 days on or 3 days off. And so I get like, I mean, it's not much, but every 2 weeks there's 8 hours overtime built in. Actually, I'm good with that. I'm okay. I'm all right with that. I'm good. But like moving that damn machinery around yesterday, we had to take a robot off a machine just like that. And the way we had to do it, there wasn't a crane in that part of the plant. We had to use these 2, what we call a mold truck. It's kind of like a walk behind forklift, but we got a boom on them. So you got a boom on each side of the robot, lifting it up. It's like a long robot. I'm on top of the machine, standing on top of it, trying to, you know, help coordinate, because the 2 guys can't really see each other, just working the lifts. So I'm telling you, this guy to do that, that guy to do that, and at the same time trying to help balance it when it starts moving. And the problem with this one was this robot really wasn't long enough. It's like the 2 mold trucks couldn't just pick them up and move out. They were fighting each other. And so I was just waiting for one of them to collapse over, because, you know, you got this thing up, the boom up, let's just say 10 feet in the air. You're holding whatever, 1,000 pounds or whatever, and you see the chains doing this number. A forklift or whatever it is, it can pick shit straight up, but when you put a side load on it, it'll flip over. And I'm standing on top of the machine with this damn thing for an hour trying to figure out how to fucking monkey this damn thing out to where we could finally get straightened out. I was a nervous fucking wreck.
How many more machines you got to move?
They moving one more tomorrow, but I won't be involved in it. I'm off tomorrow.
You just got to wire it up the next day.
Yeah, actually we got some electricians wiring it. I'm just gonna plumb it up and I probably have to do some electrical work, but not a lot. We don't have the manpower to do a lot of electrical work. We're just not enough of us. So we're running wire like, you know, fucking like that. You know.
Yeah, I just got new wire from my off-grid solar project. Had to replace my extension cord. I might have been a little too aggressive when I ordered it off of Amazon. I got a 6-gauge wire.
Holy shit!
Because I was running at 70 feet. I was like, all right, so you know the math works out good. This is the problem when you're like, you do more at a desk and a computer than you do in the field. So yeah,
you need to carry that thing around.
Right. It looked just like a garden hose. I actually bought a second garden hose reel that you put on the side of the house. So I had the black garden hose looped up and this extension cord. And to look at it from the distance, it just looked like 2 garden hoses. I was like, yep, Bubba won't steal that because it don't look like copper. Well, yeah, what I didn't account for is that
I got a 10 gauge for the RV, and boy, that was a lot to lug around. That thing, wow. So.
I traded the 6-gauge. It was 6/3 SOOW cable. TR probably knows it. You guys probably know what it is. And I could not fit the wire into the holes in the plugs to clamp it down. Yeah. So a buddy of mine who has does some welding, I was telling him what I did. He goes, well, I'll trade you 80 feet of 10/4 for your 6/3 straight up. I was like, you know what? Done. I could deal with a 2% voltage drop.
Guys, I'm going to bail off. I got a few things to do for tomorrow, but I might be back on. I don't know if Deb's going to have an after chat, but I got to step out for an hour or so. So thanks for having me on. And Comms, great to see you as usual. I hope your summer's gone well, and congratulations to your daughter. You can now be nervous those evenings when she takes the car out and all goes with the turf. So thanks for having me on, TR.
Hey, I did get good news from the insurance company before you leave, Rosie. You know, because today was the day I had to call them up and say, I got to add a teenage driver. No change in the insurance premium while it's a learner's permit. Only when she gets the license.
I think that's also, and it's not a guy, it's not a boy too. So it's a different, boys and girls rated differently on that. So, you know, it'll be interesting.
I don't know. I got 2 more in the pipeline. I'm not sure I can handle this.
Yeah, 2 is enough for me. But thanks, everybody.
Later, Rosie. Thank you.
Good night, Rosie. Yeah, a year from now, TR, you'll be like, remember that guy's comms prepper before he had a heart attack?
Yeah. He used to buy damn radio equipment. Last time I seen him, he had 2 tin cans and a string.
Exactly. No, she did good tonight. But tomorrow, it's the Volkswagen Beetle. They will drive standard.
Did you already have it, or did you buy it just for that?
Oh no, I bought the Beetle for my wife 10 years ago for a birthday present. It was kind of a hobby, kind of restoring it. Mm-hmm. And it sits in the garage. It maybe gets a mile a month. Comes out on Sunday, goes to the grocery store, comes back. And for years I've been teasing the kids, you're gonna learn how to drive on that, because that's what I learned how to drive on.
That is actually what I learned how to drive on, a damn Volkswagen fucking Beetle, 4-speed in the floor.
I think I had a great uncle. He's passed away now. It might have been 15, 16. And I lived in New York, and he used to drink, I want to say Schaefer beer, but a lot of it. And kind of like not having situational awareness of what year it was. And he'd walk out, hey boy, go get me some beer. I'm like, Uncle Stan, I'm 16. Well, just go down to Jimmy's, knock on the back door, and get me a case. Well, okay, so I start walking, and he goes, where are you going? So, well, I'm going to go get the beer. He goes, well, take the car. So I don't know how to drive. He's like, okay, we can't have this. I didn't have a learner's permit. I didn't have anything. Middle of winter, he gets his case of beer and he drives me out on a frozen lake in a Volkswagen Beetle. And he says, "You're going to learn how to drive today." And I'm out on this frozen lake and he's throwing these Schaefer beer cans out. And he says, "You're not going to burn out my clutch. If you pop the clutch, you'll spit it on the ice." A couple hours later, I had that clutch thing worked out.
That was actually a good way to do that, because, yeah, I probably gave my dad and me both whiplash while he was cussing me out for popping the clutch or not giving enough gas. We was like doing circles around a church in the parking lot. You know, it was like the parking lot went all the way around the church.
You cannot stall out a Beetle on a frozen lake, popping the clutch.
You had it good.
You won't go nowhere.
Yeah.
So you learn to get it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was 14. My dad would send me up to the store. And I think that had a lot to do with when he was teaching me how to drive. Because, I mean, it was before I could even get a permit or license when he was teaching me. And they sending my ass to the grocery store, up to the little Handy Mart to get him some cigarettes, you know. Because back then, you know, you could go in, I need a pack of whatever, and they just sell them to you.
I just saw Blue in the side chat. I tried to get a hold of him tonight. I had a question. But here's a question I got. Maybe somebody can answer it in the side chat. If somebody's on a learner's permit, can they drive out of state on a learner's permit?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Because I'd feel a whole lot better doing these lessons out in West Virginia on the mountain.
I would imagine, because you got to have somebody with a regular license, 18 or older, right?
Yeah, she can't be alone in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering if she can cross state lines with it.
I don't know. Gimp says you can't.
All right. This would be less stressful in West Virginia.
And that's probably state to state, so I really don't know. Yeah. Depends on the I can't say that word.
Reciprocification.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Let's play dumb.
I don't want to get her in trouble.
I mean, if a driver's license is good in another state, you would think that would be, it's a driver's license. What's the difference? But, you know, I couldn't give any damn legal advice on that.
Well, at least on the mountain, it's a private road. Maybe that will be the difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it's a private road, it don't fucking matter. You don't need a license anyway.
Hey, I'm happy I got to name my road. I named it Go Away Lane.
That's probably why you fit right in.
But when I put that road sign up, and I actually ordered a road sign that said Go Away Lane, my neighbor drove by and goes, "I like that. I need one." He goes, "I need a name." He came up with Don't Stop Drive.
Yeah, you two probably get along too, don't you?
Yeah, we're real popular in that mountain. We call it the low rent district. All the people with money live on the top of the hill. He's got chickens. I might have to do a video. Put a camera in his chicken coop saying Colin El Ray's house channel.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm still hurting from that training I took last week. Ugh. I still got bruises.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran into an old neighbor of mine. He gave me a link to a training facility here nearby that I don't know if it's just IDPA or maybe it's whatever. I don't know what it is. But he's like, he just kept saying it was tactical training. He was trying to get me to, When this was just last week, so I still may do it. But it's just indoor, maybe outdoor. He says it's outdoor and indoor. It depends, but it's not climbing mountains or nothing like that.
Well, when we left your chat last week, we did the one on Six's channel, and the consensus is you all should come up and take a class out there.
Oh, I don't doubt it'd be good to do. I don't train like people probably think I do. I mean, I just, in fact, most of it's informal, no doubt.
Oh, I'm reading the side chat here. Coms pull a fast one on the rich snobs. Get a new sign that says low rent district. Put that up on their street. Yeah. Okay, I like that. I usually tell them to take that shit back to DC because I drive out of DC and they'll come down. Do you have to shoot so much? Yes. Yes, I do. Well, it bothers my dog. Well, how about you put your dog in the car, go about 150 miles east, and you can have all the quiet you want. In case you missed it when you crossed that state line, West Virginia, wild and wonderful. It's a little bit different out here.
At my boss I got now, from what I gather, he's originally from Massachusetts, but he's lived in Kentucky the last few years at one of our sister plants or whatever. And of course, you know, they hired him for the plant I work at, and he actually bought a piece of property, you know, out in the country, not far from me actually. And he just was talking to me one day, and he's like, "What's the gun laws like in South Carolina?" And I'm like, kind of, we don't really have any. And and he's like, "There's not one day of the week I don't hear guns going off." And I was like, "Well, you bought a place out in the country. Yeah, that's pretty fucking normal. Somebody's going to be shooting somewhere."
Well, the mountain we're on does have an HOA. But before everybody loses it in the side chat, the rules are on one sheet of paper, front and back. And it's kind of like the car can only be on blocks for a year. You can't put outbuildings within 10 feet of the property line. They're very reasonable. But every year the HOA holds a meeting because we pay about $150 a year for road fees. And the people, I like to say, in the high rent district, you always talk about raising the property values. Now, nobody has a well up there. We're all on cisterns. And every year the same topic comes up. We need to get water brought up here. We got to go to the county. We got to go to the town. It's got to increase our property values. And me and the other guys in the lower road in the low rent district, like, no, we don't want to raise property values. We like it just the way it is. We don't want a bunch of snobs coming in telling us what we can't do. Nope, I'm voting against that. No, I don't want water. I collect rainwater.
You knew that when you bought this damn property. We're not allowing you to change it. If you wanted damn city water, you should have bought property somewhere else.
Hey, half these people got city water because they live in the goddamn city. Why you come out here? You want to flush a toilet, go back to Washington. Now, I got some great neighbors up there in the low rent district.
Yeah, I can imagine. Because you don't live there because you wanted to be some social magnet, and I don't even know where you could go with the acronyms of whatever, blah blah blah. You don't buy property like that because you wanted it, you know, to have all the greatest, and you bought that property to be away from people, not to be near them.
Here's what I tell people. I bought that property to get my redneck on. Shoot guns, drink beer, ride my four-wheeler. But all the videos I make, you know, with the rainwater collector, the off-grid solar, my neighbors really maintain all that stuff. I mean, yeah, my neighbor up above me, I get a text message twice a week. He's cleaning the filters on the water. and sending me pictures because I got a tap for him. So when I'm full, he's taking the water. The guy below me goes up, checks my inverter, makes sure the filters are clean on the Hoffman box, make sure my security cameras are working. So they're all kind of into it. I mean, I could not ask for better neighbors up there.
Hey, and that makes sense, you know, because they're benefiting from your, you know, ingenuity and the efforts you put into it, and they're benefiting from it. So it makes sense, you know. Like I say, the ones up on the top of the hill don't give a shit because they want city water, and they probably want a sewer system fucking brought in, you know, and piped in and all that. Oh, I should pay $500 a month for water and sewer, so I can just turn it on.
Yeah, they want like $100,000 plus to bring water on that mountain. Well, maybe we should all chip in. No. And we joke, one of the cabins went for sale up there, and most people buy bulk water from the town. And one of the guys from the town just bought that cabin from the water plant. So our joke with him the other day was like, well, you're the new guy in the mountain. Don't come home without a truckload of water with you.
Yeah, that's new to me. I hadn't heard of that until you've talked about it on the chats before. But I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I get it. You just don't really think about it when you're not used to living in that environment.
You ever see those square plastic totes? Looks like about 300. Seeing those totes in the bed of a pickup truck in the county I'm in West Virginia is as common as a trailer hitch. I mean, everybody has one because all those old farmhouses, you know, it was too expensive in the mountains to do a well. They just did cisterns, and to this day, most people have cisterns. So there's a whole what they call bulk water system set up at the water plant where you pull up, pump your water, write your name on a piece of paper, slip it under the door. It could be your first name. They know who you are. When you hit 1,000 gallons, they send you a bill for $8.
Mm-hmm. I got a buddy of mine that he was raised in Virginia. I'm not sure if they had a well or not, but I know he said that they had like a 800-gallon concrete water tank in the ground. Used it mainly to, you know, feed the cattle and farm animals and shit like that. I don't know all the ins out. I really hadn't picked his brain on that. But I do know he said that like he remembered when somebody died and they dug the grave because everybody got buried on their own property, you know, when he was a kid. And they would go to the hardware store and they would get dynamite to dig the grave because it was so fucking rocky.
Now you do it with tannerite. Ambiguity in the side chat just gave me the gallon count on those totes. He says he hauled water for 3 years, and they're 275 gallons.
Yeah. The average one is 275. They do have 330-gallon ones now. Most of them are 275. I got one right there in the corner of my house hooked up to my gutter right now.
Yeah, but how many pickup trucks can haul that filled up?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You don't have a little Ford Ranger.
And the rookie mistake, and I love watching it when the people come out from D.C., they go down to Tractor Supply or, you know, I'm trying to think of the name of it, Southern State, where you go buy those totes. It's got the, you know, the black cap on the top. And they tighten that cap down real tight. They pull up and they hook up that 2.5-inch hose at the main at the water plant, and they open that valve, and all of a sudden you see that square tote turn into a ball because the air pressure doesn't come out, and then boom, the black cap shoots off the top. You got to drill a couple holes in the top, let the air out. Yeah, most of the roundish looking totes have Maryland, D.C., or Virginia tags.
Yeah, they didn't grow up like that.
Yeah, and I don't think the guys at the water plant are too eager to help him. All right, well, hook you up. You ready? This is 15 gallons a second. Here it comes. So I'm getting a cement pad put in out there, and maybe in the future I want to put a building on the pad. So I was thinking, well, I better put the plumbing in for a toilet and at least a sink. I don't know if you do any plumbing work.
Yeah.
So you know the toilet bowl flange, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's keyed so you can put the bolts down in and slide them around to hold the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. So I get the primer out, glue, stick the flange on, all glue. I'm telling you, I did the whole thing. It looks perfect. Then I'm looking at the picture. Flange is completely turned about a quarter turn out around, and the holes don't line up square with the wall. The guy's supposed to pour the cement this Friday. I can't be out there. But it's a 10-foot vertical piece of pipe at 3 inches. So I called my neighbor. I said, listen, get a coupler, cut it for me, re-glue it, and turn that thing around so those bolts line up. They're plumb with the wall. All right, I got it. I get the picture from him today. He cut the pipe, glued the flange on, and twisted it 50. Well, I don't want to say 180 degrees the other way. So the two notches where you put the bolt in line up square with the hole. So the whole pipe job is shot. I got to make a whole new set of pipe because if I rotate the bolts, now the bowl is pointing the other way.
Yeah, that's not good. Because usually the wall is like right up against the toilet bowl, and you don't have a lot of leeway to. You just can't say, well, it's okay if it's pointing 30 degrees this way or that way. No, it won't work because the damn bowl will be halfway in the damn wall.
I'm trying to pull this up where I can share it out, where you can actually see the key. Let's see if I can pull this up, if I can get this right. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can share this out.
My buddy Tool Monkey says side shitter.
All right. Can you see my screen here and
Yeah.
the mouse? So you see that key there where it's a square on the flange?
Yeah.
And a key over here. So that's where the bolts go in. Then you rotate them around towards the narrow part. That narrow part has to be plumb with the wall. And somehow we managed twice to screw this up, so there's no way to put the bolts in where the toilet would sit square with the wall.
And what's bad is just looking at that picture, you had a good bit of damn leeway there.
Yeah, you know, figure the odds how to screw that up. But yeah, I jacked that up twice. So now I got a second flange in the truck. A whole new set of pipe. I'll make a video on it. But that's what happens when you rush.
Yep. That's true. It's easy to miss the damn important little parts of the equation you need to be paying attention to.
I'm glad I caught it before we poured the cement.
Yeah.
Because they ain't no do-over then.
Mm-mm.
Okay, hold on. Leave the bolts out, comms. Just do a rock side to side. Yeah. Rock side to side till the old lady falls off the toilet. Yeah, I just might put the toilet in. No walls. Just have an outside crapper.
There you go. Put a curtain up.
It's a mountain. So when do you get your HF radio online there, Blue? Or TR?
Shit, I don't know. Whenever I get back around to it, I hadn't even turned it on in months. So I don't even know. One of these days.
You ought to give some thought coming up to West Virginia. Maybe take one of those classes.
Yeah.
I'm reading here, Scotty. Comms, with that idea, you better build a doghouse. I don't even have plans to put a bathroom on this slab yet. I'm just thinking down the road 5-6 years. Because I pulled a permit for a shed. That's why I put the slab in the first place. And now funding's not really there for the shed because I have some issues here at the house. So now it's just going to be a slab. But I can't do it over once it's poured.
Okay, help me out, comms. QSO, what is that?
That's a contact.
Oh.
So if you and I are going to schedule a meetup on the radio, we're going to have a QSO, a contact.
Oh, okay.
Have a QSL here on TR. So QSL means he has a copy on you. QSO, contact. All right.
Yeah, I don't know all the lingo.
Don't feel bad. I've had a license for 29 years, and I don't do much talking on the radio either. I do data until somebody wants to turn me in, like that troll who hit me up 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I responded to that badly, man. That guy totally derailed me. For the guys in the side,
I could tell he really pissed you off.
he pissed me off. 6 beers into a 12-pack. For the guys in the side chat, I got hit. I did a video. TR sent me an email from his Gmail account, and I did a video showing how I could pull it down over HF radio. And this guy left a comment implying that, one, I was not licensed, that I was breaking an FCC rule, and if I didn't knock it off, he was going to have the FCC come to my house and arrest me. And I started off with, please share the rule that I broke. And clearly the guy didn't have a clue. Yeah, that kind of derailed my week, that Friday night for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
clearly
rules, and the thing about it was both of us had a fucking license anyway. It didn't really fucking matter. He sent me a copy of it, and it was like, I watched the damn video. I technically was in it. I was like, he said that I had a license, even though I didn't have to have a license. What the fuck?
So for the benefit of the guys in the side and gals in the side chat, non-commercial, and that's the key, non-commercial third-party traffic is permitted on amateur radio. So if you have a rural business and can't get an internet service provider or have a taxi company, you can't use ham radio to support a business activity. So when they say non-commercial, there can't be a commercial aspect. But this guy just didn't seem to get the concept that the email I got from TR, which literally said, got your test email, and that was the extent of it. So TR is a man of big words and long-winded. It was a 2-word sentence, got the test message, and he somehow interpreted this as some sort of financial windfall. Maybe there was some secret Patron account message encoded in the pixels or something where we were profiting from this email that came in. I mean, if you watch my channel, TR, any video I make where I'm actually doing a ham radio video and transmitting, they're not monetized. So nobody could ever say, well, he's using his license to make money. If I do something on the water collector or the solar panels or, receiving something or GMRS, I'll monetize those videos. But, if I'm running a ham radio where you see my radio transmitting in the video, I never monetize those videos. So nobody could ever say, oh, TRprepper's profiting from his license.
Okay. Partisan PG. How do I say that? It's too late. TR's chat is monetized, so no QSO. Shit. Something about mine's being monetized, but the thing about it is I didn't use my YouTube account. I used a Gmail account.
I'm looking at Jay Greg here. Does moonshining count as a business, comms? Well, I think I got to use the canned West Virginia answer to everything. Maybe. And SoCal had a few questions up there. Hey, SoCal, get off the side chat and join in. Help us out.
Hell, we're about to wrap this up. But yeah, those videos, you would be. I don't even think there's no way in hell the FCC could get involved and say, "Yep, y'all was using this for monetary, gain." Because all I'd have to do is show them my YouTube account in my fucking AdSense and say, "How?"
He says, "LOL, if I only get caught." Yeah. Again, maybe. Yeah, that troll really set me off. There's only 15, 20,000 users on that winlink.org system. A whole industry behind it selling modems. And, yeah, everybody's breaking the rules by sending an email back and forth.
Yeah.
So Cal say, "I'm just an extra. I know nothing."
It means nothing to most people out there, but I know what it means. I know you do.
Hey, SoCal, El Rey has an extra class license too.
I'm not sure if he's an American citizen, so he probably can get away with it.
Well, was he born here?
Well, I don't know. I didn't raise him.
I mean, if he was born in California, that's outside, so it falls outside of FA, Free America.
Yeah, but he's a fucking rooster, so I don't know that technically a rooster could be an American citizen.
What if he identifies as an American citizen?
Well, you'd have to speak rooster to figure that out.
Until we
I don't think he is, because he seems like he's pissed off every time I go outside and try to do a video. I don't think he likes Americans.
No, it's only when you press that record button he starts talking.
Yep.
Just when you get ready to get into the money shot, he's got his sound off. SoCal said, "Nope, born in CA." Yeah, sorry, SoCal. Yeah, if you marry somebody in FA in 5 years, you can get in.
He's in California. He could have a 50,000 watt fucking amplifier, probably, like they do in Mexico.
I do feel bad for SoCal when he made that video with that. I can't call it an AR-15 with that shark's fin on the handle or some shit on it. You ought to just paint a California flag in that shark's fin, SoCal. I like SoCal's channel, but that was embarrassing. That's like making a video of your last car wreck.
But for anybody that has never been on ham radio, you're like trying to just find people talking. If you're just scanning, you don't even have to have a license. If you got a radio and you're just, like listening to see what, and you're like moving the dial, volume's kind of low, you're listening to static, and then all of a sudden you hit one of those damn Mexican, Central America, whatever channels, they blasting out 50,000 watts or whatever it is. You just know for a split second they just blew your fucking speaker out because it's so fucking loud. They just do their own fucking radio shows. They don't give shit.
They got different. Oddly enough, the stations with the most power are Italian stations. They got a different set of rules over there. Like all these aftermarket amplifiers you can buy, all come from Italy. They'll have a little 5-watt handheld and put a 10,000-watt amplifier on it. You're like, hey, dude, it's a little bit overkill. You know, screaming down the other end of the bar doesn't mean shit if the other guy's whispering back at you. You ain't going to hear it. This isn't going to work.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and end this. Man, I'm fucking tired. They've wore me out the last couple of days, and it's been 2 hours, so we're right at it. So,
and I apologize for getting in here late.
No, you're fine, dude. I've always said I send out invites. I sent out several invites, and I know there's only, you know, a few. It's not like I send out 100 invites, but I send out a lot of invites. And if you can come in, come in. If you can't, you can't. It ain't no big fucking deal. It really ain't.
All right, we got one more comment from SoCal here before we do outros. Or in South America, look at the waterfall. Dark 50. Oh, okay. He's talking about a waterfall on a radio with a software-defined screen where you actually see the display going by. And the bandwidth is much wider. It's kind of like a car being 15 feet wide going down the road. Sucking up way too much oxygen.
Yep, not everybody has to follow the same rules.
Okay, question out there. I'm not sure who it's for. Okay, first time in your channel. That one's for you, TR.
Are you an Alex Jones fan? I won't say I'm an Alex Jones fan, but I have listened to him a lot, and I do watch some of his. I like his documentaries, and I do like what is it, Joseph Paul Watson? I like him. Who does little.
Oh yeah, the British guy. He's great.
Yeah, yeah, and so he's affiliated with Alex Jones. So yes, I would say I'm pretty much a fan. I think Alex is a little bit out there. I think he's a little bit crazy at times, but overall, I like what he puts out there.
So for a little trivia for the people in the side chat, for the preppers, seeing this is the TRprepper channel and this is the Comms Prepper, InfoWars does broadcast on shortwave radio. So if you buy a shortwave radio, I think it's 4840 or 4.840 megahertz at 9 o'clock every night. You can catch the Alex Jones show on HF or shortwave radio.
Yeah, no, no bullshit. Okay, I get it now. The acronym you got there. He is trying to push a lot of product, and I get it. You know, I mean, you got to make money somehow. So I really don't down him for that because he's not going to make much money off of. He definitely ain't going to make much money off YouTube and even asking for subscribers and stuff like that. I mean, you know, I really don't down anybody for trying to advertise or trying to sell shit or whatever. I mean, if you're trying to do it for a living, and I know good and well I'll never make a living off fucking YouTube. So I really don't have hard feelings about shit like that. I mean, you can't turn on the fucking TV or radio without hearing advertisement. So what's the difference? But, you know, to each their own, you know.
And when all else fails, open up a Patron account.
There you go.
Yeah. Take a few shots, maintain your motivation for making videos.
Yeah.
It's going to be the new Bitcoin for YouTube.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this up. And appreciate you coming on, Comms, because if not, I'd probably ended this 30 minutes ago. But
yeah, I'm always scared getting in on Tuesday night because, you know, when Rosie's talking the finance stuff, I don't feel too bright. It's way outside of my comfort zone. I'm like, I don't know if I want to get in on that.
Yeah, she's very informed, but yeah, it's good. It's good information, and I appreciate her coming on here and sharing what she knows. You know, yeah. I mean, she talks over my head too, but I'm learning. You know, I mean, I try to contribute and pay attention. So, but anyway, with that, anything else you want to say? Anything you got coming up?
I just want to say thanks again for inviting me. I'm hoping to get out to the retreat this weekend, get my toilet flange installed correctly this time. It's always nice to spend $50 on pipe, take it to the dump, and we'll try to get it right this time. And I might take a radio out to the cabin this weekend, see if I can't make a YouTube video on something. I got sidetracked a little bit with my new channel that I created at the recommendation or suggestion from SoCal, the off-grid cabin channel. It's got a whopping 800 subscribers, and I do appreciate that. So it's nice to segregate that stuff out between the comm stuff and the other stuff. And hopefully I'll get a radio video up, and if time permits, I'll get in on Sunday night's chat. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you. You helped class up my chat. So with that, I don't have anything planned for sure coming up. I got a few ideas, but I don't know what'll happen because my work schedule is just crazy right now. But thanks for coming by. We had a great chat. We had up to about, I seen it one time 68. It might have hit 70. I don't know, of concurrent viewers. So that's a pretty big number for a prepping channel, and I appreciate it. Thanks for coming by. And,
hey, TR, I gotta add one thing here. SoCal came back and said you keep blaming me for that. Just for the record, so everybody can hear. SoCal had a brilliant idea in this. I mean, it is a great idea. It's working out great having a separate channel. I mean, the demographic I'm attracting on off-grid solar is completely different than what I'm getting on the Comms Prepper channel. Following the Twitter feeds, it's like I'm a liberal over there. It's amazing. I'm getting a whole new exposure to like another world. It's like going through a portal someplace, like a black hole, and popping out on the other side.
Yeah, I don't doubt that one bit. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming by. We'll see you next Tuesday. If you can come by Sunday, I'll see you Sunday. It's a little different chat. Actually, Sunday night's gotten to be more of a bullshit session, but we have a lot of fun. We talk a lot of guns, prepping, and sometimes we get into politics there too. So anyway, later, everybody.